Hello viewers and welcome to our sixth episode. My name is Joseph Kimani and to my side here is Akila Kumalo. So before we go any further, I'd just like to ask Kumalo to kindly remind us what we discussed in our last episode.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Before we go any further, yes, we want to unpack on what to talk about last time, where we looked at decision making. This is what we talked about the book that inspired us, which is Who Moved My Cheese, where we looked about four characters in two groups. So the first group, which was the one that were able to adapt to change, the other one was resistant to change. So in what we talked about, we looked up in the issue of to say the first two groups, which was the mice, and the other one was the little people.
Little
Yes,
humans.
yes. Unless you've got something to say about that.
Yep. So I'd like to tackle the little humans
Mm-hmm.
because they were very skeptical and very resistant
Stand to change.
any change.
Okay.
Yes.
What can you sum up from there?
And what I can say is that the mice also are very good decision makers because they could react fast to the situation.
Uh-huh.
They could move with the cheese, while the humans were kept, analyzing, overthinking what had happened
Yes.
to their cheese. So,
of course.
just in summary, just to say that in life, situations will happen. Our cheese will be moved. And you find that cheese comes in different forms. It comes in forms of employment, comes in forms of um, a relationship, it can come in form of just about anything.
Yeah.
But when it has already happened, what we need to do is now, improvise and actually think
adapt.
fast and adapt.
Yeah, sneak.
Yeah, actually sniff and
Okay.
and be able to scare it
and
quickly.
able to scurry.
Yeah.
Which is swift to action.
Yes.
That was what we talked about actually last time.
Yeah. So, and what are we going to talk about today in our episode?
Today, because I do remember last time the issue of the cheese is not the cheese that is in our refrigerator, but it's the things that we usually like the most, but due to the current
in our daily lives.
but what is happening now, the current situation has made swift our cheese away. So
Yes.
of which now we are talking about the obstacle. To say the obstacle is the way. That's what we want to cover about.
I mean, the obstacle, the literal obstacle is the way.
Is the way. Yes.
And how is that? How is that even possible?
It's possible, man, because when you look at the circumstance to say an obstacle is the way, because whenever something you cannot change, it is in your way. The best way is to adapt and find way of how to go about.
So you mean that the best way is to actually attack the obstacle?
Yeah, find ways of adapting to it,
facing it,
and find way of how to face it. Like in one book that I was reading through, which is talking about the issues we are talking about, to say the obstacle is the way. It is inspired by Ryan, one of the
so it's actually a book.
To say
an obstacle written by Ryan. I think
of course. But what is mostly interested there is just that in the introduction part, what I found interesting, they're talking about an ozone story. Whereby the story is talking of a king who was fed up or tired with the reaction of his nation. So this king, what he did, he tried to put an obstacle to the main road that led to the main city. So he wanted to test how the nation would behave, during that time. So what he did, once he put the obstacle, which was the rock, he started to analyze at a distance to see how these people, the nation, behave. What they did, and what was found interesting.
The king was very wise.
Yeah, it's like I don't know whether it's the in scenario of such a king in the Bible. But we will look at that later.
Yeah, is something.
We can maybe look at that.
This is much interesting. We'll just continue.
We can look at that one later. But in this Zin story, what was interesting is just the first group of people who tried to reach the city. Let's say maybe in this case it's Nairobi. People are trying to reach the Nairobi city, maybe through Mombasa Road, to make an example. Yes. We are not saying it's like that, but we're making just an assumption. So what normally happened, they start to complain because they found an obstacle, so they make a U-turn, go back to their homes. Some start to sit around and complain and bite of what the king has done. So what happened in summary of that story, there was one lone guy, just a normal worker.
A peasant.
Yeah. So what he did is found this obstacle interesting. He tried to try some means, they were not working. He tried to find means and means now and again until he found wood that was able to pull the rock off the road. What most important is not just the obstacle, but is what was underneath the obstacle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm actually wondering what was underneath the obstacle.
And you are interested in that, huh?
Yeah. That
So
is the most interesting part.
yeah, so he find a note, and
There was a note.
Yeah, there was a note.
And what was this note saying?
The note was saying the obstacle is the way. And I
Okay.
wondered to say, oh, okay, an obstacle can be a way. So
Yeah.
another
And what
thing,
else was there?
it was a bonus though. This bonus now, it was a coin, a gold coin.
Gold coin.
A lot of people who decide to move away and never tackled this obstacle got lost of that. And this casual guy.
So they didn't seize an opportunity that was there. That was there.
True. Yeah, they didn't see that opportunity. So the note, what was interesting about it was saying an obstacle is the only way.
The only way.
Wow. And that guy decided to move the obstacle, actually. Under this circumstance now we have got an issue to say our cheese has been moved.
Yep.
It is no longer
we battling a pandemic, a coronavirus.
Of course, which is our obstacle.
Yeah, which is our biggest obstacle right now.
And the obstacle we are saying is the way.
Yep, so corona is the only way.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to tell.
Of course, because how do you say that is a way? You say it is a way because there are precautions that have been put into place, of which if ever we find it
very true.
we find it hard.
There are guidelines that have been given that we should follow.
Yeah, of course.
Especially at this time, where we're dealing with perilous times.
Of course. Yes, what we are trying to say is just that if ever we do not make this the season of the time, we do not try to embrace it, to say if ever we have to wash hands, we have to stay at home. I know it's hard, man, but for us to break through the obstacle, we have to embrace this in the time of change.
We have to face it.
Yeah, we have to embrace it and make it in part of our life in the season we are in, so that when we have removed the rock,
so we can make it this obstacle in our path. We can make it the path.
Of course. To add on that, I find also interesting to us the way we behave. It's just like we are peeping in our doors just to hear someone blowing a whistle to say, guys, corona is no longer there.
Yeah,
so that we can start moving up and do our normal
we
business.
Start doing, what we've been doing.
Now it's almost close to a month is over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since especially
it's a month and
we
a
are
week.
in seclusion and in quarantine, which now a lot of people now started to feel discomfort and whatsoever to say what is really, because we are not embracing the change. We are not putting that into our circumstance.
Yes, and I want to draw a contrast between the people in the book and us, like the time that we're living in. I realized that in the book, those people had become very complacent. They had become very soft and
Of
entitled.
course, yeah, true.
So could we be facing a similar problem?
It's the way we behave actually. It's like that because it's hard to say if ever our cheese is no longer there. We no longer have got to work. We have to sit at home and watch TV maybe throughout the day. But in this show, what we're trying to teach is just to say, as much as the things we like to do for the time being are no longer there, and we're in a quarantine situation, our behavior should be in a circumstance to say, what do we work on? Find something to work on right now, so that when the change is over, it's just like sniffing and scurrying.
Yeah, it's just like sniffing and scurrying into action.
Yeah, put it into action.
Yes.
You do not just fold your hands.
And there is a question that I want to ask you.
Okay.
Concerning this whole situation.
Yes.
So, what other type of challenges could be there? Yes, we have corona, but what other challenges?
Other
Obstacles
challenges,
could be
other
there.
obstacles, like what I found it interesting, there's a physical obstacle.
Yeah, physical obstacles. Okay.
Some people will be saying I'm not able to do whatever I'm supposed to do because financially I'm constrained, my cheese is no longer there.
I got no funds, so I cannot. I cannot do what I intend to do.
Yeah, sometimes it might be fear, which is an emotional kind of being of an obstacle.
Yeah. So we have physical obstacles, and then we have emotional obstacles.
Yes.
Okay, and these emotional obstacles are like fear,
Of course,
fear, and probably discouragement.
Discouragement, yes. So when you have got that, you even not sure whether how to start, how to put something online.
There is a lot of doubt,
Mm,
because also when you have fear, you have
Of
doubt.
course,
It
yes.
just comes automatically.
Of course. Actually, it's like that. And there was also another part that I also found it interesting, to say calm or find calm your
This is
emotion
like
or
perceived,
senses.
also like a perceived uh, sort of obstacle, whereby it's something in your mind
Oh, of course.
that is there in your mind. So how do you deal with that?
What I can say, maybe there are few things that were put into place, maybe in some of the books, where they are talking about to say calm your nerves. You know, when your
Actually,
nerves are calm, you are able to um, avoid mistakes.
yes.
You are able to think logically on how to go around with the circumstance. Like also another story that I found it interesting, the way one guy who was one of the first guys in terms of NASA's discovery of going to space. What's the name of the guy?
Neil Armstrong.
Yes. What was most interesting about the guy is just that he had to learn the rules and precautions of NASA that is placed in place to find out of how to take someone into space,
So
and make some
this
practice.
was a steep learning curve. So
Of course.
Armstrong had to learn a lot.
Yeah. It's just like to say he has to go through a test and training. For actually, NASA had to put actually staff into a consistent training and before they do their first inventory to space
So
to be a success.
assimilation was done.
Yes.
On Earth.
Assimilation was done, and discovered to say this guy, whenever he was even shooting up, he had got mixed feelings.
Yes.
Because he have never done this, but his nerves were calm.
Yeah. So what I'm getting is that if we can calm our nerves under intense pressure, then it puts us in a position whereby we can tackle the challenges in a much better way.
Yes. Because if you look at it in that way, whenever, just imagine, man, we hear a lot of news in terms of what is the corona doing to people.
Yes.
And that is what is clouding our mind, and we live in calm of fear. We even are likely to practice the precaution, because it's just like thinking when you're in something, you're the next person.
Yeah. So when you're like in deep trouble.
Yeah, and you fear even to live.
It's something that you can do.
Yes.
And I think also something else that I find when also facing a very intense situation, just your objective. You have to be very objective.
Of course.
Yeah, instead of becoming a victim of circumstance, you can also go forward and become like objective and see things in a much better way.
Yeah, like what they normally say is to say, accept the things that you cannot change, and try to learn to embrace the things. Like they usually say, see, accept and understand the things that you cannot change, and have a better view of how the world is.
Yeah, so it's a matter of perception. How we view the world
which
around us.
which is another thing to say. Your perception is what will drive you. Your perception or imagination of the things you want to put into place.
Yeah, and I think I'd just like to add to what you're saying that there are two sides to perception, and there is a way that if you look at things can be a source of great strength, and also like another negative outlook can be
A
like
form
a
of
source
weakness.
of great weakness.
Uh,
So you find that if we learn to view things in a better or in a positive outlook, then we're much able to, we're in a better position to tackle challenges and deal with any shortcomings that we may be
Yeah.
going through. But then what makes people, uh, you know, uh, experience that weakness when it comes to perception?
Okay, maybe I can answer your question with someone's ideology on top of that to say it is upon us. You know, what is upon to us is about choice. You know,
Choices.
yeah, yes. When you talk of choice, it's true to say what you see is what is actually there. You know,
What you see is what you get.
yeah, what you see is actually there, but it is our choice to embrace and have a better idea or taking or how we see beyond what is currently there.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is, you can either be short-sighted, or you can be able to see beyond the obstacle.
Yeah, actually, I'm saying understand the current situation, embrace it, then now look beyond. It's just like scarring, and you swift into action. Sniff the cheese where it is, of which sense what will make you be able to do something different or better.
So anticipate,
Yeah, of
anticipate
course.
what is coming your way,
Indeed,
so that you can
indeed,
get into action
yes,
and also
yes.
uh, lead to a better, uh, much better outcome.
And there was another perception in terms of prayer to say, Lord, help me accept the things that I cannot change.
Yep. So there are things we cannot change, and there are things we can change.
You cannot change, and help me to adapt to the things I cannot change. Then,
And also, like, this also is where courage is needed to change the things that you can.
of course,
Because there are
and
things that are there that you can change.
and this perception of prayer is to also to say, also help me to see the difference.
Yeah, the wisdom.
Yeah, the wisdom.
Wisdom.
To have a wisdom. I think it's one part of a verse in the Bible that talks about, Lord, help me to understand the things that I cannot change. You know, and have a wisdom to see the difference. So this philosopher had an ideology of that. You know, and
Yeah, it's a famous quotation from Stoic, for those who love history.
wow, yes. And there is also another part that I found it interesting, which when they are saying it's upon us, we talk about choice and decision. When we talk of choice, when something is about us, it's about choice, it's about decision, it's about the desire, it's about our enthusiasm. Those are the things we should be. These are things that are upon us, the things that you can work on, the things that you can even embrace and see the change and as it comes up, maybe upon that.
Yep.
Unless you have got something.
Yeah. So I think just to summarize what you've said is, I think it depends upon you to change what you can.
Yeah.
And for you to do that, you have to recognize your power, because there are things that are within our power, which we are very much capable of changing. And it's only when we do that that we can see change, real change in our lives.
Indeed.
Yeah, and we control emotions, we can control judgment, we can control our creativity.
Those are the things we can control.
Yeah, our attitude, perspective, and finally, the decision lies with us.
Yes, and that one it brings up to say, we analyzed it to say, indeed, the obstacle is the way. If ever we've embraced that, it brings now to say, you can go through and face the obstacle. You can be able now to work up on something that is quite a bit interesting, which is on our topic today.
Yeah, and thank you for putting it in such a way that, in such a story that we could, follow you as you're outlining it to us. Yeah, so as we cap up, I just like to encourage each and every one of our viewers to actually just grab that book. It's called
Obstacle is the Way.
The Obstacle is the Way.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
I mean, who would have ever thought that the obstacle that you
are facing
is actually the way forward?
Why you are running away from the obstacle?
Yeah. running away, man,
doesn't solve anything.
It doesn't solve it.
Yeah,
it's never a solution.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes. So, what would you like to encourage our viewers to do as we wind up?
Yes, as we sum up, what I can say, there are few things that I would like you to go away with. One is to embrace change. Two is to make a choice. To say, understand the things that you cannot change. Embrace it, but it is a choice to see the perspective, or to have a perspective on that ideology. Like right now, in the issue of corona, what we have to embrace is to embrace whatever precaution we have to practice, the guidelines, and now have a perspective of the things that you want to put into place. In terms of your decision, your desire, those are the things you should be working on round and round and round and round until you find the point. So that when this situation is over, you'll be able to to see the change that you want to see.
And so, yeah.
Oh, as we sum up, maybe I can say, yes, as we sum up, I can also remind our viewers, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like our page on Facebook, make sure that you subscribe on YouTube so that you can put more in terms of this channel. Thank you very much.
And also share with your friends.
Yes. Oh, it's also important to share. And thank you so much, and also for hosting me even today.
All right. So yeah, thank you so much, and have a lovely day. We look forward to seeing you the next week.
Yeah, embrace the change as the week starts, and make sure you make a right choice.
All right. See you next week.
Yeah, thank you so much, and you make sure that you keep into those necessary precautions.